him on the phone, and I told him about the vacant spot at that location. So I believe he's a title insurance lawyer and also a developer. So I
Okay.
just put a
Well,
attorney
I
there
hope
just in
they own
case
it.
if he
And
gives
many
a problem.
times with attorneys, it's actually not their space. They just work for someone that, you know, we'll see. We'll get to the bottom of it.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, all right. We have one more chance here in Pontiac. And you think it might be Ryan, might be the potential operator. And
Yeah.
when we called, you dialed ahead and said that there was some issues with the boiler. Good for you. You know, I'm all about BSing your way to the right contact person. But we're sure he owns the building. We're not sure if he operates the laundromat,
Correct.
or is it kind of ambiguous on both?
No, actually, no, no, no. We don't know if he's the landlord or not. He might just be the operator of that
Okay.
business.
All right. I'll tread lightly. Here we go. I don't like calling operators because it's sad.
Oh, this is Ryan.
Ryan, I am calling on some commercial space I'm interested in leasing here on Cesar Chavez.
Yeah.
My name's Danny. Is this not your building? I'm sorry.
No, it is. I got a building on Cesar Chavez.
Okay, perfect. So the coin laundromat out there, that is what I'm interested in. I'm assuming you operate the laundromat as well as own the building?
Yeah, that's correct.
Nice. Well, that's what I do as well. I've been in coin laundries for a few years. My partner and I, we look for stores that have all the infrastructure, that have obviously the bones for a laundry. And this isn't a bad laundromat at all. I know that you had some problems with the boiler recently, and we're kind of keeping our fingers on the pulse. These are, whether they're 24 hours open or closed, obviously they're public space. So not trying to step on anybody's toes. My interest is in a long-term lease, signing that lease, giving you a rent check, and usually retooling the store pretty quick. And now we've got issues with getting equipment, but I can weather that storm most of the time. And I don't know, you call it an introduction. I own commercial space as well, and I know that what I want are really good tenants in most of the operations. And if you love the laundry, if it's doing well for you, making a ton of money, I wouldn't change a thing if I were you. But if a lease is in your horizon, I'd love to talk terms with you and see if we can't become your tenant, if any of that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. I do have. So there's always interest. So I have some personal things going on. It's actually interesting that you called. So I have been contemplating getting out of the laundry space. I do have two locations. One I lease, and then this one, of course, I own. For me to get out, though, I would want to sell both of the businesses. One of the business just opened, so it's brand new equipment. But anyway, that's where my head is at. So I'm open to further discussions for sure. But again, I would want to get out of both if I were to get out of the business.
Sure. And I can appreciate that. Really, we can't call this a cold call. I'm not calling you out of the blue, like I said. And I appreciate the fact that you're willing to discuss terms. The one thing that we're missing, you're talking about the sale of said business, and I just don't do that. I made that mistake. I'm happy to talk to you about it. Over 20 years ago, I bought my first laundromat. I spent $250,000 for it. I thought I had a great deal because they wanted over $350,000, and I thought, well, man, I just shaved $100,000 off the price. But the truth was, it was just a horrible, decrepit location with really old equipment. It was stainless steel, so I didn't know any better. I had no idea how the business worked at that time. And I'm the kind of guy that said, well, I'm going to turn this store around. I'm going to do whatever it takes. That took some hard thinking. And I had to retool the whole store. So it was all new equipment. But what I got for free, obviously, was the gas, water, electric. And I'm preaching to the choir. You know how this works. I don't blame you for wanting to get out and or sell both stores. But my intrigue is in signing that lease, like I said. I don't provide key fees. I don't really want to buy a business. And this may not work for us, Ryan, but it's not about your location then. It's about the next one down the block or down the road. You know, there's stores obviously all over Michigan that are failing. And I don't think that's you. Your stores, again, walking through them, you've got it dialed in. But I don't want to leave that stone unturned either. I want you to know that we're doing this, that we're intrigued. And maybe that works in a year or six, maybe not today. But if you have two locations, maybe we can talk on one of those locations. You keep the real estate and we pay rent for 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility. That the thing about it, with both of my locations is one has been half retooled. So the one on Caesar has been half retooled.
Yeah.
So the other half needs to get done. So you know how much a retool costs.
I do.
So just to basically give the business away and then lease, yeah, I mean, that's not practical at this point for me. But
sure,
it is interesting to think about it, what it could be in the future.
Right. Well, look, dude, everything changes and nothing lasts forever other than my marriage. And, at the end of the day, that's why laundromats are so unique. When you've got a bearing job that needs to be done on one machine, you might leave it, throw an out of order sign on it, leave it. But when the entire row starts to go bad, it's time to either replace that equipment, that's costly, or pull all the machines. I do my own bearing jobs. I always have. I don't want to spend $3,000, but I'll wait until I have 8 or 9 machines, bring them back to the warehouse, take care of all of them at once. And that's a method. The folks don't care how old the equipment is, but all of the equipment has a fiscal life and a physical life. I can keep them running forever, but at what cost? It just doesn't make sense. New equipment is nice. Again, I'm preaching to the choir. What I'd love to do, I'll send you an email. You can look at some photos of before and after of my stores and just realize that maybe it works for you. This is never a hostile takeover. I'm not bending anyone's arm. I can appreciate talking to an operator. We could go on and on. You could jump into this thing and advertise. You could retool where necessary. You could go full hog into it and make a lot more money. You know that. We all know that. Yep. But at the cost of your time. If you had 10 laundries, it would be a different scenario because with 10 stores, a retool could be, well over millions of dollars, and you're looking at what it would end up earning you in the long run, or selling them all for one money. I'm never here to try to talk anybody into anything or out of anything. But if we could end up leasing the space from you, you're looking ideally at what is proper and commensurate rates of rent over the next 15 years. Because as you know, I'm not going to retool a store where I don't own the dirt without having a very long-term lease.
Sure.
I'll email you. This is your cell phone, yeah?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Text me your email address. I'll send you back the full deal, my partner's information as well. And who knows? I'm glad we spoke. I don't want to cross this off my list either, but fire me off that address as well. When I send you an email, I'll ask for the address for the other store so we can have a look. Glad to know you.
Okay.
Thanks for the time. Cheers.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Okay. So there is, as per usual, a moment in time where I ask you, I know what I think, so I want to know, what do you think?
Well, looks like he's just wants to just sell it. He wants to get that money. He's not interested in, leasing the space. But he said that he has a personal issue, so he cannot really, it depends on how much time he has. So he might just change his mind. What do you think?
Oh, I know what I think. So here's the thing. You have a lot of my clients, my students, if you will, they think in one linear direction, right? Well, I want the store. So
Yes.
when we hang up, I'm asking you what you think, and you're saying, well, I've flatlined on everything but my chances of scooping up this store. Well, here's the thing. We're cold calling this dude out of nowhere. We don't know if he's the landlord, the operator, or both. So you're kind of throwing me, think about this, into the deep end and saying, hey, man, figure that out on your own, Danny. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that he owns the building. We all use these methods. And I've got students in Puerto Rico, France, almost all 50 states currently. So it's up to you to do that legwork. Now, this was a great call because we're going from a cold call to planting a seed in this landlord / operator's mind. So one thing, we've checked off the list. We know who he is. We know he's the right guy. We know we've got his cell phone number. The speed at which he texts back. All right, so he just texted me his email address. So the speed at which he didn't think about it. No matter where he's at, what he's doing, he's like, well, I'm interested. But you heard that moment and inflection in his voice where he's like, huh. Well, yeah, I think I'd be interested in selling both of them. But both of them. Yeah, sure you would, dude. What's he going to sell them for? Is he talking about selling the building as well? I don't know. Don't care. What I want to say is, look, there's another option. There always is. Don't sell either building. Real estate over time, it's going to go up. I don't care. No matter where you are, no matter where you is it dirt? I'm buying dirt. Is it residences? Is it something you're going to... The cash flow is different. If you're leasing a house long term, you might make $100, $200 a month. It's not about that. It's about when that little old lady decides to move out in 10 years, she's helped you pay the mortgage for 10 years. You're closer to ownership. This is different because we're happy to allow the landlord to keep the dirt. All we want to do is help them by paying rent. And we were planting a seed. So the good news is here, this store, when I'm looking at the photos, it's not a horrible location at all. He said it was partially retooled, which is precisely what it looks at. Here's what I took away from this. He didn't say no. Should you lose sleep over this? Of course not. Absolutely not. Put the notes in. Understand, I'm going to email him. I'm going to CC you, which is always the case. And this potentially, or his other store. Do you know where his other location is?
Yes. If you look at the Google Docs, you'll see on the bottom the second location.
Okay.
That's the address for it.
Good. All right. And there's no need to obviously connect on that other location because we've already connected with the man himself. And again, this is a little deeper, but I always say the dude doesn't even know me, doesn't recognize my voice, doesn't know my name. That seems really odd for folks that watch me on the YouTube machine, but it's not odd for me. I'm not famous. Has this guy decided to go on to the YouTube machine, go to YouTube University, and type in how to run a successful laundromat? If he did, he'd know me. He doesn't.
Right.
Seems crazy. But the internet is a very, very vast place. And at the end of the day, my 13-year-old daughter can probably check something on the internet better than I can. And this guy might not be into that type of thing. Or he was told this is the way this works. Or it was explained to him by someone that didn't really know. But when I said, hey, you could advertise, you could do this, that, and the other, not a horrible store. The preponderance of the stores that we take over are exactly that. They're horrendous. They're just nasty. And in this case, not a bad store. But I've also done this plenty where I can't speak to his mindset or what he's thinking or why it is that he wants to get out. But he said, like you said, put that in the notes. Personal. What was his exact words? Some personal stuff going on?
Something personal matter or something personal, something personal.
Okay. Well, all right. God bless him. I hope he's well. I hope that personal stuff, but we're giving him an option. Give people what they want. That's what negotiating is. Hey, keep the dirt. Stop worrying about running the place. And to him, it is obviously a worry, you could tell. All right. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
All right. God bless. Keep your head up. Stuff some more stores in here, and we'll do this again if I get return calls from the other ones.
Oh yeah. Before you go, I got a question.
Sure.
There's 3 potential locations. I'm having a hard time locating the landlord.
Okay.
On the city website, skip tracing, all that stuff. I can't really get a hold of them. So what should I do? What did your other clients do to actually get a hold of them?
Well, the first thing that we do, the best time to find the landlord, you understand, it's not always the lord of the land. We don't typically deal with, the old guy or gal that owns the building and has forever. We deal with whomever sits on the other side of the lease table. So to begin, it's either the landlord himself or a third party, a management company, a realtor. When we say broker, we're usually talking about the evil business brokers, but in this case, it's just a real estate agent with lots of initials after their name. So when you're in the spot, when you're physically there scouting, is the best time to think to yourself, okay, this is a potentially great takeover. Now let me find the landlord or his agent. So number one, scour the parking lot, obviously, for signage. If it's a strip mall and there's an empty spot next door, it should be a simple matter where there's a sign, obviously, for lease. Maybe it's handwritten, maybe it's printed, maybe it's a real estate agent. There's the number. Snap a picture of it, put it in the document. Now, we never notice, unless we're looking, that every Walmart in the country has a little sign in the corner of the parking lot somewhere that says Stein, Schmeckel, and Allen Real Estate. It's always there. But if you're not in the game, you won't notice it. If you're not in the corner of the parking lot looking for it, you won't see it. But the dirt is owned by an entity. It may not be Walmart itself. And then there's a sign that indicates who that agent is that works for that landlord. So that's number one. Scour the entire parking lot. If it is a strip mall and there's a pizza shop next door, what should you do? What's the first thing you're going to do when you walk into that pizzeria? Your goal and focus is to get the landlord's number. What do you do first?
You asked the person who operated that business.
Ask them what?
For the landlord's number.
Get the fuck out of here. It's 12 o'clock noon. I'm trying to make pies. Get out of here. Assess the situation, dude. Calm down, relax. Who the hell are you? Hopefully you don't have any open wounds. Hopefully you don't have a crooked eye. When you go in there, wear a golf shirt. You've just scouted the laundromat. That's your goal. The first thing you do in that pizza shop, order a slice. All right? Blend in. Become a customer. If it's a Chinese restaurant or a nail salon, I don't care. Get your nails did. No joke. Sit down, order this slice. You might just be able to call and gather some information while you're sitting there, right? While you're eating your slice, it takes 8, 10, 12 minutes. Certainly if it's noon and there's a line of people, you don't want to elbow your way to the front and say, hey, who's your landlord? But while you're sitting and eating, you'll probably find that the dude in the back, the old man throwing the pie, starting to lose his hair, that's granddad. The guy running the register, you'll hear him barking orders to the kid that's sweeping up. Hey, son, you missed a spot. The guy on the register is the son. The grandson is sweeping up. Here's 3 generations, right? They are the operators. But you might just hear the dad yell to the granddad, hey, did you collect the coin today? Oop. Now what? Now you find out that they all also operate the laundromat. Just by sitting there and saying nothing, you find this out. Okay. Am I exaggerating? No, not really. Maybe the dad yells, hey, when you're done there, go sweep the laundry. Oof. Now if you go asking, who's your landlord? They're not going to tell you because they probably know that you want to talk to the landlord about the laundromat. So be careful. Be ambiguous. Never mention the laundry. And become a customer. So you're eating your slice. You're done with that. Maybe they don't say anything to each other. They're pissed off. They've had a bad week. Cost of dough is up. Then, when you're done, give a compliment. Best slice of pizza, you can barely choke it down, but you say, best slice of pie I've ever had. Thank you so much. Hey, I'm interested in owning a business. Can I get your landlord's information? Well, what kind of business? I make pizza. Don't give them an excuse not to tell you. Tell them you're an accountant.
Right.
I always say, don't lie. There's no need to lie. Don't lie in business. But if you mention a laundromat, you're going to kaflooey everything. Don't show your cards. All right? Play the man, not the cards.
See, that's...
So, go ahead.
Right. So everything you said is absolutely correct, right? The problem with this location is it's a standalone building. There's no other tenants for me to go talk to. You get what I'm saying?
So now we're talking about all of your skip tracing and all of those ridiculous skills. I hate the term skip tracer, right? So that
Yeah.
standalone building is owned by someone. There's a constant, there's a known. We understand that there is an entity that owns that building. So,
Yeah.
sure, go Google it. First page of Google, hopefully you'll get a hit. But listen, things last on the internet forever. If they've ever hired someone to trim the trees or the bushes, start looking carefully at that. If the sign is new,
Okay.
they've probably looked for someone or hired someone to take care of the signage. If the equipment is new, they've got a distributor that dealt with it. So this is the number one thing. Do that long, deep dive on Google, follow those leads, but also understand we called 3 locations today. We were able to get through to one landlord today. This is a marathon. It is rarely a sprint. So I'm on board with you. I'm in your corner. At the end of the day, keep digging on the stores where they're standalone and hard fought landlords. And they also might be owned by the operator. So when you're in there in that case, start digging slightly into, hey, if there's a broken machine, call this number, etc. You know, use those skills and figure out if it's the same entity. Not saying it is. There's no percentage in reference to how often that it is. But understand the bigger picture. We need to be calling other stores, not just fixating on one. Like I say, don't fall in love with any one location.
No, of course not. Of course not.
They have
From your
an operator, a landlord, and that landlord pays taxes. You know, luckily in this country, they're always on paperwork somewhere. If you're doing some skip tracing or you're hiring someone to do that, which I'm totally against, you make sure you hold their feet to the fire, hold that individual or entity accountable for what the services they're providing for you. Make sure that they give you, if they give you bad information, obviously you're not going to pay for it, but do you trust them on the next one? No.
From your experience, the speed that he texts you, what does that tell you?
Oh, come on. You know, like I said, it's a good thing. If he didn't give us his email address, it's a little iffy. But I'm gonna email him the standard canned email before and after pictures of my stores, etc. I'll CC you, and I would set your calendar on this dude for 3 months. Let's call him back in 3 months.
3 months. Okay, perfect. I'll do that.
Ciao.
Okay, bye.
Later, dude. All right, everybody, the gang is here. There's people on board. We've got hi, hello, everybody. Reading the comments. My 2 closest competitors are closed mats, no machines. My business is booming. Do I try to go for a free mat? I think I know the reasons they both failed and probably can't be fixed. Ha ha. Well, here's the thing. Someone else is going to scoop up those stores, dude. So I don't know who you are. Chi-Town, Yale. I don't know what that means. There's no name there, but I'm not hard to find. Email me. What I want you to do first is watch the course. I don't know if you have. You can respond here. But once you've seen the course, it's not because I want to zap you for a few dollars. It's not that. It's because if we get on the telephone, there's going to be a direction and I'm pushing you in, a direction you're pushing me in, and the only way to meet in the center is if we both have all the same information. So the silly course is over 101 hours right now of streaming content. So all those videos there are private, not exactly the same as what's on my YouTube. Watch it. Go through it. You already have a laundry. Okay, he says he bought the course. Let's talk. Okay, email me. But I want to give the answer to the group. Be the devil's advocate like me. I'm the glass is tipped off the table and broken in 1,000 pieces type of guy. All right? How are you going to feel when someone takes over one of those stores and retools? How old is your store? A few months, a few years? Your retool is how old? What if they find me and they retool that store? You're saying there's 2, they were your closest competitors, they've closed down. You did that. Good for you. I would say you skip one of those locations, you scoop up the other. Absolutely. That landlord is going to be on the ropes right now. Retool it. Now, if someone takes over the one in the center between those 2, you're going to crush them from both sides. Easy. Just fielded an email. Do we do demographics? No, we don't do demographics. We walk the earth like Kwai Chang. All right, kids, on to the next. I got folks waiting. This is what I do. Whoever you are, thanks for grabbing the course. I'm excited to talk to you. Just email me, Danny@freelaundromat.com, and we can get on the horn. Cheers, everybody. Keep your ears to the ground and your nose to your